You are listening to WERA 96.7 FM, Arlington, Virginia. This is your girl Yazzie Speaks on Millennial Minds. This evening, we have Mr. Doug Spencer. He is a graduate of Elon University in
Shout out
North
to
Carolina. Shout out to Elon, where we belong.
Elon.
And he is the co founder of Bold Exchange. And he is also in his second year at Georgetown Law. Hey,
Yes.
Doug.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited.
When Yazzie calls, you gotta come. You gotta come in.
You must answer, huh?
Right.
I love it. I love it. So Doug, tell us who you are and where you grew up, and just tell us what makes Doug.
That's a big question. So I am a native Washingtonian.
Woo woo.
Born and raised here. Actually, the first 9 years of my life lived in District Heights in Forestville area.
Mhm.
And then I was 9 or 10. I moved to DC proper. And my whole family is from DC. So my mom's parents actually bought a house in DC in the early 60s.
Okay.
And my mom has 8 brothers and sisters, and pretty much all of them grew up in this house in DC. Unfortunately, my grandparents passed away, and they left the house to my mom and her siblings, and she ended up buying it. So from them, and that's
Wow.
when you fast forward to me being 9 or 10. I moved to DC proper, and I'm an only child, so I got a big family, but it's just me. So third generation in this house in DC, and I want to pass it down just like it was.
I
passed
know
down.
that's right.
The city's changing, so I at least want to
Yes.
keep this little piece
Yes.
for my family. So.
I know that's right. I'm trying to find a property now.
Alright.
Pray, Grandma, hold on
Bless
to
you,
that house.
that you looking for one, but
Yeah.
native Washingtonian. And even if I go somewhere else, I'm
This
DC
is
through
home.
and through. So
Yeah. Respect. Now, where is the house?
it's on Capitol Hill, the northeast side.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's a
so-
good area too.
Yeah, not far from 8th Street. So
I love it.
we
I know
just
that's
talked about
right.
the city changing. I had someone tell me the other day, they're like, Chocolate City is now Cappuccino City. I'm like, it's going to be Latte City soon. And I'm like, all right. I don't
Yes.
drink coffee, so I guess I get the reference what they're saying. But so our city is changing a lot.
That is true. But they listen. They can't get rid of all of us. We'll still, some of us just keep our equity in the city. And then
That's right.
too, there's a side note, but I was reading an article not too long ago, sometime this year, that was talking about long commutes to and from work.
Mm-hmm.
They lead to like health issues. They can cause also depression.
Yeah.
And you just lose a lot of time. And
Right.
so as a lot of DC natives have been moving out or been given vouchers to move out of the city and like move into Prince George's County, Montgomery County, and Waldorf and places like that. There are not as many in certain areas. There's not as many like grocery stores and
Right.
places
Food
where
deserts, there's a lot.
it's like we're moving out, and you might be able to buy a really big house for $200,000, but like that value may potentially depreciate on your house for one, and two, you got to drive into the city for everything.
Right.
And then that's the long commute time. So big ups to you and your mom.
Hey, it's none of my doing. I'm just a recipient,
Right.
of the generations before me. So.
And that's a beautiful thing. Inheritance is such a big thing.
Right.
It's needed, especially in our community. So inheritance of wealth and of equity.
Yeah.
But
so,
anyway, okay, so you DC native.
Right. And Georgetown, a lot of people don't know, the law school is actually on Capitol Hill. So it's
see.
right by the Supreme Court and by the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about commutes, I bike to school, which is I think something that's really cool for me.
Oh, nice.
It only takes me about 10 minutes to get to the law school. I hop on. You'd be surprised. People don't respect bikes out here. And until I started being a bike
because some of y'all
rider-
job be right in the taking up all the space
We
on
got
the
our
street.
own lane, and it's not respected. As someone who's switched from being a driver to a biker, I can get both sides. And look, I've almost got hit a few times. But
Oh no!
I wear a
Be
helmet.
careful out there, Doug. Yeah, you gotta wear your
I
helmet.
always wear my helmet, so But it
Good.
can be rough out here.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, drivers aren't really in favor of the bikes, though. Even though you all have your own lane now.
We do most places.
Okay, so DC native, and you're at Georgetown Law. Why law school?
Yeah, so I mean, my reason has changed a couple of times, but I think I went to Elon, where you went as well,
Mm-hmm.
and throughout my time at Elon, I always had this interest in law. I think first it was really I wanted to be a sports agent. Like law is a good background. If you don't play professional sports, you have to have this professional expertise to assist. And I played in high school, thought about playing in college,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately decided to go to Elon and not play at like a D3 level.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really the gist of it. And then the more I learned as being a student in college, I joined Alpha Phi Alpha.
Oh yes. Oh listen,
Shout
I
out
was
to the
going
Alphas.
there.
Okay.
I was going there.
I'm a tease
I
it in
love
there
it.
a little bit, but service and being committed to your community and doing things that you can to uplift those around you. A lot of that is baked into not just Alpha, but a lot of the Greek organizations. And so a lawyer, is seen as a figure who can use that skill to better other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so law school always was one of those options on the table for me. So yeah, that's to make a difference, and I thought law could help me make
I'm
that
glad.
difference.
I'm so glad you're pursuing law. And do you happen to know, like what profession you may go into with law, or your area of interest? Because I know people choose different focuses, like if it's education law or family law or public health. So many places you could go with that.
Yeah, so I'm about halfway through. I'm still exploring my options, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about business. But now that what I really would love to do is fuse some of that social justice work that comes from learning the law and knowing the law to also have a business interest. And so we think about things like social enterprises. There's nonprofit sector as well. But at least for me, if I could do that in the for-profit sector, but really be about the people. And so when I think about law school and everything I'm learning, I don't want it to just be lip service, because a lot of businesses out here, it's popular to say, I have this social mission, or this is what I'm trying to do to better everything. But when I really get to study and learn these things, it's not me just throwing it on a tagline or something. Like, I really know. Like sitting here with you, I had a class early today. I'm in race and American law at Georgetown, and my professor clerked for Thurgood Marshall. So, like, there's so much knowledge.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and so it's like I get to have this deep experience and then figure out, okay, how can I kind of creatively put my mark on it and then go out once I leave school to then do something bigger. And so I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about business, but I'm looking at traditional routes as a lawyer to do that, but also how business could be kind of that outlet for me and do something a little creative. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're gonna fuse all of your different areas of expertise into your passion, and I love that. I think that's great. And so you are the co-founder of Bold Exchange.
Yes.
And you actually got your undergraduate degree, your bachelor's degree in business administration?
I did. So
that's
I had
awesome.
a degree in business undergrad and also studied leadership and marketing. So it kind of makes a natural transition. What Bold Exchange is, there's really two parts to the business right now. On one hand, we help small businesses create digital advertising campaigns. So
nice.
If you think about Facebook, Instagram, you see sponsored posts every now and then. Yeah, probably a lot now.
Yes.
And a lot of times small businesses don't know that they have the tools already, and even if it's on a smaller scale than bigger businesses, they still can take advantage of some of these tools that exist. And so a lot of the companies that we worked with, not exclusively Black owned, but they have been sort of in that realm, or otherwise we call them underdog brands. So it's not only a particular demographic, but they're really trying to punch above their weight, if you will. And so we do help on one end with the digital advertising and really showing them all the things that they have at their disposal. And then the other half of the business, which I think is really the heart and core and that social justice piece, is we're really looking to create a platform specifically for Black entrepreneurs. And this kind of goes a step further. What we see is that a lot of Black-owned businesses don't have the resources to even have someone help them with marketing or advertising.
Tell me about it.
That's a service.
Tell me about
and
it.
So just anecdotally from our experience, we're like, okay, as a company, I'm a co-founder. My co-founder, excuse me, is Black as well. It's like, well, we have a
Shout
passion.
out Danny. Hey,
Shout out
Danny.
to Danielle Devins. She don't go by Danny for everybody, so sorry I let that slip on the podcast. But yeah, so we are trying to create a platform specifically for Black-owned entrepreneurs while still doing the advertising on the other side. So this will probably air a little bit later, but we're actually running a Kickstarter campaign right now.
Nice.
To help us with our platform that's going to be for Black entrepreneurs.
Nice. So what is that going to be? Is it going to be like an incubator or accelerator or a training program or partnership? Like what are you all thinking about or planning on doing with this group of Black entrepreneurs?
So right now the Kickstarter is focused on an actual retail shop. And so a lot of the businesses that we work with, obviously on the advertising side, have a product or something that they're trying to get to market. And a lot of times it's a great product, but they don't know how to distribute it. They don't know how to get the word out.
Yes.
And so we've actually tried something before that wasn't as, what we think, sophisticated as this. But our retail shop, we actually want to hold the inventory. And we...
Wow.
Yeah, we want to hold the inventory because what we've seen as supporters of Black-owned businesses and as a business that's tried to make that connection for supporters and the actual businesses themselves, there's a lot of times, you don't know when you're going to get something. You don't know the quality. There's a lot of question marks. And so what we've been doing actually for this entire year, not selling anything, but we've reviewed more than 50 Black-owned businesses on camera as our way of just saying, hey, this product is great. I'm showing it to you. Like, this is all the ins and outs. We're not holding anything back. Like, this is really what it's like. And so with the retail shop, we want to take it a step further and say, hey, you've seen this. We'll do a write-up, we'll do a video. You can buy it and get it in 3 days or something like that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so the Kickstarter has been very exciting. It's a lot of work, legwork.
I'm sure.
But, at the time we're sitting down here, we launched it 5 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, our ask was $10,000, and we've raised $5,000 in 5 days.
Wow, in 5 days?
Yeah, so we're really blown away by people coming out to support us. I think I check my phone. I'm trying not to check it too much to see who's been giving, but we've had about 50 people support us already.
That is phenomenal.
So hopefully by the time this podcast airs, it will have completed, it's another 20 days or so. And we'll have secured those funds, and maybe it'll be in the description of the podcast or something.
That is phenomenal.
But really what we want to do is to do something like holding inventory. We know it's a leap, and it takes funding, and that's what we're going after right now is to really help us have that foundation to then go from 10 to 20 to 30, whatever it goes to, and support as many as we can.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so if you start holding inventory for your different clients, does that mean you also will be shipping them too? Mm-hmm. Very nice. Okay,
we'll be shipping,
wow.
So
you'll almost be like, so for, I noticed with t-shirts, or not just t-shirts, but basically any products, they have them, what do you call them? Kind of like print on demand or something like that.
Drop shipping is what they call it.
Drop shipping, okay. So they, the warehouse, and then they with the warehouses, they store the products, and then when people order, they just ship them out. Yeah. Is it sort of kind of something like that?
Kind of like that. Right now, we're not looking as much into the apparel. I think it could be, our goal right now is to get to the 10,000 that we want, and then really figure out exactly how we want this platform to look, whether that is the apparel that is created, or candles, or skincare products, or different things for men as well. That's something that's kind of hard to come by. Is women, y'all dominate everything. Y'all starting the most businesses. Y'all got a lot of products. So make sure guys are represented as well. But it won't be us actually printing T-shirts or anything. It will be okay. We've already reviewed 50 businesses, and I'm sure we won't just support those. The idea is to have it much bigger. But it's to figure out some kind of partnership where they're sending it to us and we have a sense of what people are looking for, and then we're like kind of that middle ground to then say, all right, like we said, this is a real product, you can trust it, and we'll send it to you. So
that's
really
awesome. Yeah. And that's so important, establishing that trustworthiness and reliability with customers, because once you get them hooked on it, once they know that like I order it, it's going to turn around in a quick turnaround time. It's a great product. I love it. They're always going to come back.
Right, and I think
for more.
That's one of the challenges with supporting Black-owned businesses. Right, is like I feel like this is my personal belief that we don't give Black-owned businesses a second chance all the time in the way that we do for others. And so,
or a first chance at that.
Right, you're right. Even a first chance, but I can't say that we can solve that. But at least in the way that we are, dreaming of this platform, we can make sure your first experience is one that you want to come back. You know, it makes you want to come back and either shop or support that business, or say, hey, this is a place where there's a lot of different things going on. Maybe I want to try this next. And it's like, how do we get over that that hump of like not trusting, you know, the businesses? So that's something we really want to try to attack.
That's awesome. Well, you and Danielle are definitely the ones to come up with a solution.
I appreciate that.
And I saw that. So I actually interviewed, and you may already know this, I interviewed Shelly Bell of Black Girl Ventures.
Yeah.
And she also partners with Google and does a lot of the pitch competitions. And so I saw when you and Danielle, or was it Danielle who pitched Bold Exchange? Danielle pitched Bold Exchange. I don't know if it was through Black Girl Ventures, but I remember seeing it online. I was like, oh, that's Shelly's thing.
No, that was perfect.
And then you all won.
We did.
And you won.
So we
$10,000, right?
So it was $10,000, including in-kind donations.
So next time we're gonna do $100,000. How about that?
Yeah, it was $3,000 in cash, but then there were other things that came along with that.
I see.
I had to give Danielle a shout out because that was her first pitch competition ever,
and she just killed it.
She came in first place.
I know that's like, right. You in first place.
Yes. I'm not gonna finish that line, but
so we'll edit it out. But anyway, so let's back up a little bit. Now, Bold Exchange, I love that name, and exchange is with an X. Right. So tell us, one, how you all came up with the business, why you decided this was important and that you should move forward with it, and what Bold Exchange, like where the name came from.
Yeah, so I'm going to walk you all the way back to the beginning. That wasn't our original name.
Okay.
So actually, kind of how it went down, I go to Georgetown now, but a few years ago I was going to go to law school. I was going to attend Columbia for law school. Was very close.
I'm glad you stayed local.
Yeah, well, me too now. My pockets are glad too. But so I really was set on it, like I said, in college all the way through. That's what I thought I was going to do, even right after college. And I spent a little bit of time at a law firm, and I was like, I don't know if this is going to be for me, and decided to take a step back. At that time, it was a huge decision in my life, and not something that I think most people who are in my corner, who I really love and respect, they didn't really think that was the right decision for me. But I did it anyway. And,
they didn't think what was the right decision for you?
That I should not go to Columbia, they thought I should continue
to go to Columbia. Got you.
Right, and so I decided not to, and one of our good friends from Elon had a blog, and I ended up writing about that experience, like why I decided not to. Really, it was almost therapeutic in a way, but he asked me, like, this is kind of crazy that you're doing this. Do you mind opening up?
Because who turns down Columbia?
Yeah, it's like, I really, that's what you kind of dream for. But I said, this isn't right for me. And so from that blog post, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, I'm having this really difficult decision I have to make. And I know you just made a really difficult decision. Will you just talk to me? Like, just talk to me about
that sounds like another business in the making, or consulting firm.
Well, so that
decision makers. There you
right,
go.
I told you I was going all the way back to me.
Going all the way back to I like it.
So no, and Danielle is a journalist by trade. So she had worked at Food Network, Brides Magazine. She was the journalist. I just wrote a
Meanwhile, Danielle's like 20 years old. That's what I'm playing. Like Danielle, like you guys are, your minds is just, it's so impressive to me.
But that's the thing. It's just,
she's
it's
so
kind of
intelligent.
snowballed.
Both of you are.
Yeah.
But wow.
So that
you better hold on to that. You hold on to a good. When a man finds a good thing, I done got it wrong. When a man finds a wife, he finds the good thing.
Yeah, so I think because we know each other, we might have skipped. So Danielle's my co-founder, but she's also my girlfriend. The girlfriend and the relationship thing came before the business, which I think has been great. But anyway, so we had the blog post happen. I said, hey, people are really resonating with this. I think, you're the real journalist. Do we have something here? Could we create a platform to really tell stories that connect with people? And so from there, we actually started an LLC. We started a business, and it was called The Curators. And so the idea is that we curate our stories. Like we said, okay, if Doug's story can touch other people, what if we find people that inspire us, interview them, and tell their stories?
Wow.
Like someone can connect the same way that they connected with Doug with someone else's story. And so that was The Curators. Purely just a writing project. Like I said, she was an actual journalist. I like to write too, so I was like, all right. And what happened from there is a lot of business owners reached out to us and said, hey, I don't have a platform to tell my story. Would you be interested And so we shifted from just telling stories about photographers and journalists and people who were in grad school to saying, okay, maybe we can also be a platform for businesses. And so that was the spark where it's like the people who reached out were the business owners.
Right.
And so then we said, all right, maybe we really do have something here in a different direction. And so that's where Bold Exchange came. Nice. It was like, okay, we're really evolving in what we do. And even though we had a focus on Black, interests, Black creatives, we didn't want that to be in the title. So we said, all right, what we're doing.
Right, because you didn't want to necessarily limit it or or exclude folks, and I get it.
So we said bold. We're doing something bold. We're doing something we want to step into. We really believe, and then the exchange was an exchange of ideas, an exchange of products, an exchange of, just a lot of things where people meet and they come out with something that's even better than they had when they were separate. So that was our idea, Bold Exchange.
I like that.
And we
like
dropped
exchanging ideas, like you say, exchanging ideas, exchanging products. Man, that's so tight. That's dope.
The X with no E, that was really just the URL. It wasn't open. Bold Exchange with the E wasn't open. So we said, all right, let's just drop that E.
I love
Bold
it.
Exchange, and it
put a big old X.
Exactly. People like Malcolm X, no, it wasn't even that. But so
but then actually though too. It's kind of cool because, and you all may or may not have thought of this, like with an X, it's almost like a crossroads. And so people are coming from different locations and spaces and meeting each other in the middle or exchanging ideas and then going back out their separate ways to share that, right? Or you guys are sharing that information.
Right. I never thought of that, but you might hear it in the speech later, so I'm
going
to write it down.
Listen. We redo the logo, get the little the X going. I'm telling you.
Right. So
I love that.
But with the whole story, it's like almost serendipity. It's kind of like one thing has just led to another, has led to another. It hasn't been, okay, this is what we're going to do, and then we're going to do that. We've kind of like let it happen naturally, which I think makes it even more of a blessing to kind of take a leap of faith and really step out there and see where you go. And it just so happens that every step where it seems like we're going in the right direction, nobody really knows but the man above. Yeah. So,
I love that. Wow, Bold Exchange. And so how has it been with your clients and now with this new direction and marketing and so tell us what services you provide for your clients, and then someone who wants to get engaged with you or to learn more about Bold Exchange or set up a consulting, set up a meeting, an informational interview or meeting with you, how they would go about doing that.
Right. So, the best way would be to email me. I was going to say my email to them, but doug@boldexchange.com. That'd be the best way to get in contact. But really, a lot of what we've done to this point has been us seeing or being exposed to a business and saying, hey, really love what you're doing. For these reasons, I feel like, we might be able to help you, amplify what you already do. But now that we've grown a little bit, we are starting to get some of that inbound people saying, hey, I think you can help me with this. We're talking, I guess, about the advertising and the client side. So yeah, that's been a little bit of a two-way street right now. But something I will mention is over the last year, we've built a newsletter. And so that's where we've been putting our product reviews. Like I said, we review businesses, we find news from around the web. And we've been lucky enough to have that newsletter grow to about 1,500 people.
Wow.
And it goes out every week. So every Wednesday we send out a newsletter. So to have that grow, that helps with some of that inbound. But really, we didn't start the newsletter. The newsletter was started before we were helping anyone with advertising or anything. So again, it's just kind of like we learned how to do something and we said, okay, we can hold that and only keep it to ourselves, or we can figure out a way to help other people learn what we've already learned. Because maybe they can teach us something we don't know, that exchange, if you will. I'm going to throw that in there now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so we have really allowed it to organically grow with the newsletter. And then the next step being the Kickstarter and the retail shop to really take what we've learned and just grow it from there. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You guys are so dope.
We're trying to get there. We're trying to get there.
Oh, man. Bold Exchange.
So yeah, it can be a little bit limited now because we haven't even talked about it. I am in law school, so there's that whole piece of my day, and I think it informs the business and vice versa.
Oh, I'm sure you learn a lot. Like, oh, I can use that. Like, oh yeah, write that down, Doug. Like,
exactly, every day.
And how has law school been for you? I mean, we recently had Raina Inquano on the show. She just graduated from the University of Maryland, Carey Francis Law School.
Okay.
And she was just saying how she just like the studying, and it was very time consuming, and then even sometimes it would be kind of competitive. Like some people felt like they had to compete. And she really learned a lot, like personally and professionally in law school, but was literally kind of cut off from the world. But then she had these like moments where she could actually travel, and like she it felt like she was doing less, but she was actually doing more. But how has your experience been in law school at Georgetown?
Yeah, well, law school is a grind. I'm not gonna, hide that. That is, of course, you're studying hard. You're learning so much, and it's like you're trying to take in as much as possible.
I'm sure a lot of reading and writing, too.
A lot of reading, yeah. A lot of reading. I'm in the second year, which is a lot better than the first.
Okay.
But I guess for me, I probably have a little bit less downtime than most students. I think a lot of times it's said that you don't have any time in law school, which is not true. But being that I'm really pursuing this business interest, I don't, go out as much as a typical law student might, despite having their work, or I haven't taken any trips during law school. I've been here trying to get the business off the ground and do things like that. So it's okay. Like I don't have any leadership roles at Georgetown, which is weird for me, I guess, to say, coming from undergrad and being president of Alpha and other things in undergrad. It's like I really had to consciously step back. So really at Georgetown, I take my classes. I have friends who are in leadership now, so I help clean up events. If they need a panelist, I'll help them find somebody.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
I'm very much in a support role at Georgetown because my leadership has to go to the business.
Right, exactly.
So that's a conscious choice I had to make. But it is time management. And I tell anyone who's listening or anyone interested in law school, I think you should work for some time before going to school, because having that 2.5 years off, I can treat school like a job, not to, demean or diminish what you learn. But it's like, okay, I got these hours to get X, Y, Z done. Boom, like I need to do it. I don't have the time to procrastinate in the way that I did in undergrad.
Right, no.
Or if I wasn't trying to also do a business in conjunction. So I kind of, my priority teeters a little bit more. I say, like I have to tend to the business and I got to really tend to the books. So it's like just trying to find a balance with that.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, Doug, before we wrap up, I gotta make it, put a little bit even more juice into it, right?
Go for it.
So how do you, in the midst of managing time management, managing your schedule with law school and your business, you also are in a relationship. So, and a long distance relationship at times.
Yes.
So
yes.
how do you all balance that and how do you maintain and balance?
Yeah, I wish I had it's something that's always evolving or always happening. It's tough. Like we've had periods where it's like when Danielle's in Charlotte, I'm in DC for the most part. It's like when we see each other, business might be to the side. Like we're not going to talk about that.
I know that's right.
And Danny definitely has set that rule sometimes where it's like, this is what we're doing. But we FaceTime, we call, we talk, text all day. And so at least right now where we are, is see each other about once a month. And I did spend the summer in Charlotte where she is.
Nice.
So it's like you gotta try to figure out how to make it all work. It's not perfect, but I will say being in a distance relationship is hard, but we care about it so much that that's why we're still pushing forward.
That's great.
So,
I love it. Yeah. I love this story,
Shout
you guys.
out to Danielle. I wish she could be here. But
I know. Well, we will bring Danielle back and we'll have you both here together so you can talk about, all the forward movement and progress you've been making with Bold Exchange, because we have a lot of African American and Black people of the diaspora that come here and interview on the show, that listen, and so we definitely want to bring you guys back so that Danielle will be here in person. But Doug, I mean, the time has gone by so fast.
It really has.
We just touched the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Bold Exchange and law school and all the developments that are happening in you all's lives. But tell us where we can find you again. Tell us Bold Exchange's website and where we can find you guys on social media.
Yeah, so our website is boldexchange.com. That's bold, the letter X, change, like change in your pocket, .com. And you can find us on Instagram, all social media at bold_exchange. And again, the best way to contact me is probably my email, doug@boldexchange.com.
I love that. I love it. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're going to have you back.
Oh, I'll be ready. Let me know.
I'm excited. You were listening to WERA 96.7 FM, Arlington, Virginia. This is your girl Yazzie Speaks on Millennial Minds. Till next time, peace.